Grita Radio. Señal binaria en tus oídos.
Bienvenidos a una transmisión más por vía remota de Grita Radio. Ahora sí estamos aquí en el estudio de Coyoacán para todo el mundo. Y el día de hoy estoy muy contento porque tengo la visita de dos viejos conocidos. Y también tenemos una persona nueva. The conversation today is going to be in English. It's going to be a little bit of broken English because my English is not that great. It's going to be like English. It is. I think it's still recognizable as English, but it's not going to be like Shakespeare or something like that. Still very, very, very much welcome. I am very happy to have Ty here. Hadn't been here the last time we had the Crystal Ship Band today with us. I know a lot of people already know about the Crystal Ship Band. How long has the Crystal Ship Band existed?
It's our 18 year.
18 years. Wow. Probably longer than the Doors themselves. No.
Well,
yeah, they didn't last that long.
Not really. It's a long story for them. Even though Jim passed away very early in the story of the band.
They keep the flame.
Yeah, they kept the flame, and Ty is part of the last iteration of the Doors.
Exactly, because the Crystal Ship Band and the Doors are not completely without intersections. Really, they're very, very, very close connection, and Ty is one of the links linking them both. Welcome to Mexico, by the way. How long have you been? Because this is not the first time you are in Mexico, and this is not the first time you're playing with the Crystal Ship Band. How did your interaction start? How did you get in contact with them, and who got in touch with whom?
I think they messaged me from Facebook.
Oh,
through Facebook. Yeah, I think they'd come and seen the Doors of the 21st Century at the Auditorium Nacional or those places, right? With
all the times they were here in Mexico City.
Before I knew them, they came to the shows.
Yeah, so if you first came to the shows, of course you were gonna come when. Okay, so first of all, we have some context. We're gonna ask 3 different questions. First of all, who is the Crystal Ship Band? What is the Crystal Ship Band? Then, who are the Doors of the 21st Century? Well, or it was still 21st or 20th? 21st. And then, what is the relation between you two? So, who is the Crystal Ship Band?
Well, the Crystal Ship Band, it's a tribute band. Tribute, it's a kind of difficult concept, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We try to be far of that concept because we are more than anything an interpreters of the music of the Doors, more than imitators of the music of the Doors.
They're not impersonating
No,
the Doors.
we are not impersonating. We don't try to use costumes to disguise ourselves. So that's one of the things in the Crystal Ship Band. We have, as Mario says, 18 years doing the music of the Doors, performing the music of the Doors. So for us, it's a really long journey, a very amazing journey, because every time this project really, really amazes us, surprises us, because probably our craziest dreams always comes true with this project. You know, we perform in many places in Mexico City.
So this is a completely Mexican band.
Yes, completely Mexican band and completely northern Mexico City band. So
every one of us is from Ecatepec, so we are really, really Mexican. We couldn't be more Mexican than that.
Exactly. We all know that the actual center of Mexico is Ecatepec, of course. So yeah, you're right. You cannot be more Mexican if you were from Jalisco or Tijuana. You have to go from Ecatepec.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we perform in many places in Mexico, outside Mexico, other states, other regions, and
other countries.
We performed twice in Germany at the Feast of Friends festival, which is a crazy festival of, Doors tribute bands, mainly from Europe.
Of only Doors.
Yes, it's crazy.
3 days of only Doors tribute bands. And it's kind of...
And who attends the other tribute bands?
At the end is kind of interesting, you know, because everyone tries to emulate as best as they can the music and sometimes the presence of the Doors. But you get to realize it's not possible. Yes. Everyone is a different person. Everyone had different lives from the original Doors members. So that is impregnated in the stage every time you play. So you hear the same songs
For 2 days,
performance art.
2 days listening the same songs in different versions. So it's crazy.
yeah, and even though it's the same version, it's different.
Oh yeah, but
Because
do
the
people
band
come
is
and
different.
stay for the whole festival, or they just come to see some shows and then go like, okay, yeah.
You know, it's like a crazy thing, like a
Sounds
crazy,
crazy thing,
Woodstock
yes.
thing, mini Woodstock, because it's in a national park called Jorotsberg, in the outside area of Magdeburg. So it's like a national park, and the people is camping there. So they stay basically the whole day there, the whole night.
And you're performing, and you can see the fireplaces of every people that
Cool,
is
yeah.
camping around, and you can buy food and
Well, yeah,
beer,
you
of
better,
course. And it's kind of this informal vibe that you have, and sometimes even the performers. There was this band. I remember this band from the Netherlands. They came to play in shorts only because they were swimming at the lake. And
So shorts or swimming trunks?
no, shorts.
Okay.
Sometimes in wet clothes, whatever.
Whatever they were wearing at that moment.
But some people were actually like imitating the Doors. They were dressed like the
Yes,
Doors.
yes,
Some
I think-
bands were doing it.
United States, there's bands like that, a few of them.
And probably here in Europe, the approach to the music of the Doors is that trying to imitating, to impersonating the Doors, and that was really refreshing because in our concert the people saw a whole different thing. So I think that was one of the more
They were welcome, like, oh,
yes,
finally.
they really embraced us. Yeah, they really the reaction to our concert was wonderful. It's like being in Mexico, it was very enthusiastic, and they really appreciate that we don't try to be the Doors. That was something really great, and the place itself is it's very incredible place because it's a Second World War bunker. The place was a bunker.
Okay.
And
But it was open air, so it's not
on
underground.
top of the bunker is the
Oh.
stage, and the after party is inside the bunker with a DJ
That's
and
crazy.
a different vibe.
And the DJ only plays Doors records. No, that would be...
No, not really.
I hope not.
Mainly 60s and 70s.
And only one, exactly.
Yes, only the first one.
Okay, so and who are the Doors of the 21st century?
When I played in the Doors of the 21st Century, it was myself. But I mean, really, it's Ray. It was Ray. Rest in peace. Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger. Those are really the guys. And I was lucky enough to get to play drums for 9 years in different incarnations of that. There was a few different singers. When it started, there was Ian Astbury singing.
Wonderful.
So that's from the Cult band. And that's when the band, let's say that's when it was the newest, the band they just started doing it. It was the newest. There was the most excitement about it. We played the bigger places. So-
Which were these big places?
Oh, we played Argentina and Buenos Aires. We played Olympic Stadium, places like huge. I can't remember the name of the place. We played big places here.
Yeah, you played
Fazio del Toro Auditorium National more than once. We played Wembley Arena
Okay, wow.
in England. Played a lot of in the United States, some big giant festivals.
Wow.
So, but there was different singers in that band as well as it went along. Ian did it for a while, then some different guys came in.
Okay, how did you get in? I mean, yeah, you said you were lucky. Of course, that is an important factor. But there must be some other material reasons.
I knew Robbie first,
Mhm.
so I played in his band first. I got to meet Robbie, then I got to know him. And so then playing with him, I played all the Doors songs with him. So I knew how he liked them to be played, and the arrangements were basically the same way they always did them. Then I got a chance to meet Ray, and originally there was a drummer, Stuart Copeland from the Police was
Oh,
the
yeah,
original
it's
drummer.
one of these drummers, I know. Yeah.
Who's, you know,
Easy shoes to fill,
Oh,
I know.
huge.
Yeah.
yeah, who I'm a huge fan. And so originally he was the drummer.
Mhm.
And then I was like a substitute drummer.
Mhm.
And since I knew Robbie, I got to be the substitute for Stuart Copeland, and then I took over the job because he didn't want to.
Do
He moved
the
on.
big
He moved
tour.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the big tour started, they asked me to do it. And then I did it for
Wonderful.
9 years. They had a couple different name changes and things from lawsuits and stuff like that. But
Yeah, we read about
yeah,
them. Yes,
and I
know.
still play with Robbie
Oh, great.
since 2001. So this is 23. That's 20. What is that? 21 years.
Yes, 21 years. Well, 22.
22 years. 22
well,
years.
depending on the day, exactly. Yeah. So then that begs the question of how did you met him?
The bass player, who's a really good friend of mine,
Hmm.
who we're still making music together, as a matter of fact, was playing with Robbie first. And, when Robbie
Needed a drummer.
wanted to look for a different drummer,
Mhm.
he recommended me. And I went in and played. And there you have it. You obviously you have to be able to do the job.
I know.
Recommending someone doesn't mean anything if you can't do what needs to be done.
So you remember what he asked you to play at that?
I don't. I don't remember. I mean, it was probably the hit songs. I'm sure it had to be "Light My Fire" and stuff. "Break On Through." I'm sure. I don't remember.
But let's assume that somebody you're being considered for a job, and somebody wants you to what is considering you to join their band, and you really want to join their band, and they ask you to freely choose whatever you want to play to impress them. What would you play?
For which band?
No, well, just. Ah, yeah, of course, that's a trick question, right?
For the Doors, then?
Yeah, for
Well, you want to play
the hit.
hits first.
You don't want to impress them with like, oh, I know this.
Yeah, you want to play the
or-
hits and make sure that it's comfortable, that it feels comfortable for them,
Mhm.
and you can play the parts they're used to hearing. That's really
Mhm.
important. If they said play whatever you wanted, I mean, now that I know that, it's hard to answer because now I know
I
the
know,
songs and I
yes.
have my favorites now. Whereas then I didn't know as much of the songs,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't have had much of many choices because I didn't know
Yes,
as many
no.
tunes when I first played with them. Now I know a lot. So now I would
Yes.
play When the Music's Over. I always like playing that. I would probably play like Texas Radio.
So you're saying also that when we go to the show, that's also at least a couple of times where we really have to pay attention to what you're doing on stage.
Yeah, When the Music's Over there's a good one. That's a good one
Yeah.
to listen to.
Do you remember when you first heard it on record, and did you ever think, oh, I want to play that?
You know what? That's a really good question.
Thank you.
When I got the job with Robbie, I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge Doors fan. It's just because I've had this question before lots of times.
Yeah.
I had heard the hits,
Mhm.
but that wasn't a
That's
band I actually
unavailable.
listened to.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Okay.
So when I got the job, he gave me this was back when there were CDs, a bag of CDs like Live at the Aquarius, all these live ones, and said, listen to this.
Mhm.
And so that was interesting because it's kind of like Led Zeppelin live is a different thing.
Yes, the
like-
record thing. I know.
I was like, whoa, okay, I see what's going on here. And I like the studio version, but live, I was like, okay, I see I could really get into where they can take these songs. And now I see where they're willing to go with this music, hearing it live. So that was interesting.
And can you also listen to what is it that you are contributing that you know that it is you playing those songs in the new versions?
Oh, yeah, you asked some good questions.
Oh, thank you.
You know what? When I played with them, one of the reasons I got the job, and I know Ray particularly like this, is that I honored the parts in the music, but
Mhm.
I also do what I do.
Yeah.
I don't want that's why you get hired for something. It's like, anyone, it's not that hard to get someone to copy something, but
Mhm.
someone that can do that and also put themselves into it and be part of what's happening in the moment and move and go with it. So when you're playing with Ray and Robbie, there's a record version, but they might go here. They could go somewhere else that
Mhm.
they've never went before. They need someone that can go with that. So if all you can do is copy a record, what are you going to do? How can you? You have to be able to
Yes.
improvise. You have to have the skill set and listening. Be able to listen and go with where people want to go. So,
And
I think that answers your question.
yeah, but is he like a leader kind of a person that is going to tell the band where he wants to take them, or is it more organic, the flow of?
Was Ray? You mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Ray would tell you in playing.
Okay. Just this is what I want. That's
He's
good.
never spoken.
Oh no.
And same with Robbie. Most guys don't tell you like that usually. When it's improv, that's why it's improvisation, because they don't know what they're going to do before, right? He would tell you by just doing it, especially Ray.
That you have to follow.
Totally different than before, which I like.
Yes, but it's
That's why
also
I
a
like playing with
challenge.
these guys too,
You
because
do?
I like playing. They do the stuff their own way, and personally, a little. I played the song so much it can be a little tiring to do the same way all the time. So like when people do something different or weird or way different, it's cool.
So was that a factor in accepting collaborating with them? Had you already heard them and were like, oh yeah?
Well, after the first time I played with them,
Okay.
then I
Noticed that you like
noticed it.
that.
I said, okay, they do their own spin on it, and that makes it interesting for me. Besides,
They're nice
band and
guys.
they're my friends and all that stuff. But that is what is interesting to me.
But what about the first time? What did you agree to collaborate?
Why did I agree to collaborate?
I think you saw a video or something like that. You asked us for a video or something like that.
Also, we wanted to make this homage to Ray because he just
That's right.
Passed away. That's true. I
That was
remember.
part of it. That was part of it. That's right.
so we contact. We heard first that Ty had played with the Peruvian guys, a tribute band from Peru, and then we thought, well, maybe he can agree to come to Mexico and play with us too. And this is a very important moment to do it because of Ray.
Do you remember what dates more or less we were talking about?
Oh,
What year was
it was
2013.
for at the end of 2013.
Right after Ray died, then.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
died in 2013, like
In May.
May. That's right.
Yeah, I remember the date very well because it's a few days before my birthday.
Okay.
So Ray passed the 19th of May.
Okay.
So
And when was the message sent?
around July or August.
yeah, very
yeah. And at first we were very cautious because it's not that simple for a band to contact someone.
That's just email. That's simple.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's the easy part, right?
sometimes it's not the guy.
Oh,
you know?
Oh, yeah. So they're gonna be.
It's a fake profile or something. So we were very cautious with that. And then one day he said, "Well, let's talk about it by Zoom."
Oh, good.
So we started Skype on that moment. Yeah, on Skype.
There wasn't
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger even, right?
No, it was on Skype. And when we started the call, and he picked it up,
Okay. So yeah,
it was like, holy cow, it's really him. And we started talking, and we sent him some videos of what we do. And Ty was really interested from the first moment to come to Mexico. And when he finally came, it was like made in heaven because we started getting along very well. Bless you. And the chemistry on stage and off stage was really, really nice, really good. And
But what do you
Still
think?
is.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
yeah,
it still is. It's the seventh time.
It's the seventh time you're
It's the
playing
seventh time,
together. Yeah, but what do you think surprised you the most about the contribution? What finally resulted from the sum of the parts? I mean, I know you had high expectations, but they must have been different from what you expected, right?
Well, yes and no. We saw Ty many times performing with the Doors of the 21st Century in big places. We never dreamed that that guy performing with those, rock and roll icons will perform with us someday. So, for us, it fills our expectations, and probably, was it was great to perform with him the first time, because you can see the precise work on every song, and that was a challenge for us to improve ourselves, to raise the bar, and trying to be better, and trying to perform with him in our best shape. But at the same time, Ty, he is a very, very honest man. He's a very, very humble, and really very friendly, and that makes us the experience easier, because we create, this friendship, and every time that we perform with him, it becomes better and better, because now he knows us, we know him, we know that it's going to be a different for us, a different experience of performing the songs, and every time is a challenge, and every time is fresh, every time is great. So it has been a really wonderful journey.
Yeah, I'm very glad. But what about you? What surprised you the most about when you were finally here? I mean, you already know how they sounded, but now it's time to say.
First time I came?
Yeah, the first time you came.
We can deal with the criticism.
No, I mean, it wasn't. Let me think. Sorry.
No?
It wasn't. There was nothing negative. I mean, it was, all my experiences were really positive. That's why I kept coming back. Probably as much as the music, I just like these guys as people. So
Yeah, but what do you like about it? Okay, so what I mean, you're not playing. You already finished rehearsal. What are you
here's
doing
what I like
together?
about it. It's like in a parallel universe, there's a Mexican version of every human being.
Okay.
Right. So Ray's Mexican version is right here.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah, I want to hear.
And there's the Jim Morrison Mexican version is here. So
Cool.
So
Region 4.
yeah, it's like, you know what I mean, like a doppelganger or something.
Good.
And but in Spanish, what do you say, doppelganger?
Oh no, I don't know.
But
That's a
doppelgangers
German
are
word. Exactly.
usually
See,
evil.
I don't know.
Doppelgangers usually evil. They're not evil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a double, just double. Yeah.
Double,
Just
yeah, the double of Ray right there.
Yeah.
So
No,
no, I just like these guys.
Double, great.
Yes. No, these guys have a great, love for the music, and it comes across. So that's what's not to like about that.
Perfect.
You know,
But what about this time? What is going to be special about this performance? Okay, first of all, for those who don't know, this is already tomorrow, so you have very precious time to get your tickets now, because they're going to be playing tomorrow at Bajo Circuito, and yeah, the idea is what is going to be special about this session, about. Given the time you've been together, what can we expect tomorrow?
Well, I think it's special as probably.
Don't say that any play is special.
Yes, exactly. But it's just after COVID, after
Okay,
the
yeah,
pandemic.
that's true.
So we've been out of the stages for for 2 years. This year was our moment of reconnect with our audience, and of course, this year is our 18th anniversary. So the beginning of our celebration.
Yeah, they're of age now.
Yes, we are exactly, and this concert is very special because of that. Because meeting with Ty again, to performing with Ty again, since I think that the last time was in 2019.
right?
So it's been a while. So it's our opportunity to, have this experience with a good friend, performing this wonderful music and celebrating the spirit of the Doors. I think that's the main thing always. Every time that we perform these songs live, something magical happened. Every song. That's why we don't pretend to be them, because every song has its own vibe. It's on the spirit of them are on the songs by itself. So every time that you perform that, you can perform it just trying to be there on because of being there on the stage. You every time you have to give everything of yourself to those songs. You deserve it.
I must also confess that I was not a big Doors fan because when I was young, it was in every party. It was just like, oh, it was just too much. I mean, I thought Mexicans just loved the Doors too much.
There is a fact, when we went to Germany, there is some kind of a statistic or something like that that the place in the world that has more Doors fans is Mexico.
How do you measure
And the second place is Germany.
Wow.
And I think the United States is in the sixth place or something like that. That's crazy.
But why? What do you think? There's something about the Mexican spirit, about the Mexican people that matches the Doors? Why is that? Do you have a hypothesis?
I don't know. I think it's just the music by itself.
But if it was the music by itself, everybody would love it the same.
Right.
So it has to be something about the relation between Mexico. Okay, you have a.
Do you have
Yes, I have an idea. I think the Doors are different from other bands of the '60s, especially from the bands that are contemporary from in the States.
Mm-hmm.
They are not a flower power band,
Definitely.
They are very psychedelic. They talk about subjects that are still very very fresh. They were kind of dark. They were kind of it's a band that they were pioneers on different genres. If you want to talk about punk rock, you can find something of punk rock on the Doors. You can find something of prog rock on the Doors. You can find some jazz, fusion, all these different styles. But at the same time, there is some kind of energy, very strong and sometimes violent on the vibe of the music that I think it's really attractive for the Mexican spirit. Every time that
Mexico is always tied to historically to
Because of
the
LA,
United
California,
States.
the area that the Doors developed in.
And there is some kind of connection between Jim Morrison and Mexico.
Yep.
Very, very strong. Jim was really inspired by the, original cultures from the States and from Mexico. When the shaman thing and all the mysticism, all the culture, it really inspires Jim in many of his songs and poems, of course. And they were here in the '60s. There is a story because Jim was staying at Los Pinos at the official house.
What?
Because he was invited by the son of the president. Yes. So he was there. And he went to many, many places. In fact, this is probably a legend. We don't really know because, these facts, these stories, it's probably are urban legends or something like that. But there is a story that in one day was Jim and the son of the president having a party there at the official residency. And the president came back and, this guy that was very intolerant with the young people and with music. And he tried to stop the party. And Jim peed on his portrait there at the living room.
He peed on it?
Yes, he peed on it, as a kind of protest.
I didn't heard that story.
So, this is an urban legend. Who knows what really happens? Because many of these things in the crazy '60s, you never know how much are true from this. But, there is a special connection. But every time that we perform these songs, for me, it's really impressive that there is, we don't have only old people in the audience or people that lives the '60s and that it's music from their time. We have a lots of young people, lots of teenagers that are really, really into the music of the Doors because they really feel identified with the music still because of the subjects of the lyrics, the energy of the music, and I think that doesn't happen with many bands from the '60s. If I compare probably the Doors with the Beatles, that they really have huge base of fans, but with the Doors happens something really, really special because young people is very into the Doors, very into the image of Jim Morrison, of course, that he's an icon, that it has lots of legends like this I just told. But it's a band that there is no time for this music.
Okay, I'm going to say something that is going to offend a lot of people out there, but the way you're describing the Doors, they sound like if the Velvet Underground wrote catchy songs, right? Like, because it has this dark part, it's still 60s, it's psychedelic, but on the other hand, yeah, we hear it on the radio, you play at parties, but do you think when you listen to, I mean, you're also part of the Mexican rock scene. Can you also hear influence on how Mexican rock developed?
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
Probably, yeah. There's some kind of very nice taste of psychedelic in Mexico. Not probably in the more commercial bands, but in the underground scene, I can listen some lots of influence of the psychedelic music for the spirit of improvising. There are lots of bands that really likes to improvise, that really likes to makes the.
But they're not jam bands or something like that.
No.
We don't have like a jam band scene in Mexico. There's no such thing like that.
No. But in the compositions, there is every time a space for improvising. There are lots of bands that are really aware of that, the power of connecting the people, of making the musical experience something that it's unexpected. So I think that is something that Mexican, the Bandero generation, but the newest generation too. There are lots of. I am really amazed how many prog bands, for example, are here in Mexico. Some new psychedelic bands. We're going to have a good friend of ours opening the concert of tomorrow, who is Mauricio Delgadillo, and he's gonna play with his quartet, and they do something kind of psychedelic, and they has lots of space for improvising. So it's great. I think there is some kind of connection with the music.
Okay. So have you come to Mexico besides coming to play, or is your connection to the country mostly through your playing?
Yeah, I've come here a couple other times. Yeah.
But isn't that Mexico?
I try to forget. I try to forget.
I know.
Yeah.
Some things you're thinking about, remember, you don't want to share.
They know, but yeah. This is in the past. But, yeah. No, I've come here some other times too, but mostly music.
A gentleman has no memory.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But the Mexican audience, for example, when you've been on tours through the world, do you notice anything special about, or at least different about Mexican audiences? Or do they just start to blur after?
Oh, no.
No?
There's and can I expand upon it to like Latin American audiences?
Yeah,
not that I don't love Mexico, but the Latin American audiences are definitely the best audience I've ever played for, as generally speaking, for sure.
But what makes them
it's
good?
the passion of it, not to simplify too much, the excitement of it. It's like, especially when like we went to some other countries besides Mexico where the Doors never played, like in South America, and they're so excited because the music they've loved.
Yeah.
Two of those guys are there, and they can barely contain themselves. So it's pretty infectious, when you're playing for that, and that feeling, you absorb it on stage too. So definitely the most passionate audiences are Mexico and Latin audiences that I've experienced.
Okay, so when you're on stage, you want people to be more listening or more losing themselves in the music?
I mean, I'd probably prefer losing themselves.
Yeah. Is that because is that also part of the reason why you play rock music?
Well, I think you can lose yourself in any kind of music.
Kind of music.
It doesn't just have to be rock music, but the opposite would be like a Japanese audience who are wonderful people when they watch a concert.
They're paying attention. Oh,
which they do like a little clapping thing. What's the opposite? Which is not as you're not getting for me. There's not much there's not a lot to feed off of them from that. There's no energy coming back, which is just the way they are. But so I prefer a more passionate audience.
It's because, of course, I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to like live any of those experiences of having like thousands of people screaming back at me. That's what I want to understand, right? Exactly what goes through your mind when this happens, when there is this connection, this unity with the audience that you can only find in those places. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Well, I mean,
for people who will never probably be there.
Yeah, I mean, there's also, you can get it for anyone, any country where there's always the huge fans of a band. You're gonna get that experience for the giant fans of any band, right?
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, in Mexico and Latin countries, it's that I don't know, the fire in your guys' soul or something, in a good way, a positive thing. It's not. It's sometimes chaotic, but not negatively.
Yes.
Like, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like when we were in Argentina, we played. Things were getting destroyed. Not exaggerating. Pieces of chairs and things are flying on stage. There's fires. People setting fires. It's like chaos, but it wasn't angry chaos. It was like uncontrolled excitement, which I loved. I thought it was one of the greatest times of my life. I'm like, there's fires, there's shit flying over my head when I'm playing. There's the national military with German shepherds. It's like crazy.
Yeah,
I loved it because it wasn't like scary, like negative.
Not a riot.
It was positive still.
Mm-hmm. No, of course.
We're not playing. We're not playing Slayer or Sepultura here. Like it's not aggressive music. So it brings out. That's one thing about the Doors music. It brings out happiness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some darker parts in the music, but overall, it's a positive, feeling. The soul of that music is positive, which I like too. That what do you call it? That connects with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've grown your appreciation of. You already told us your appreciation of the Doors has changed a lot, of course, over all these 20s,
sure.
More than 20 years. Do you see being part of the Doors for the long future? I mean, maybe we will see again in 5-10 years, and the excitement will still be there.
Yeah, I'll probably always play this music. I mean, at least I'll probably never stop playing it at some point. I mean, I have like a connection to it for myself, and I enjoy playing it. The thing is, there's always certain songs that are still a challenge, even though certain songs will never stop being a challenge for me, drumming wise, because of the improvisational aspect and the group of people you're playing with. Everybody plays the songs a little different, so when you play certain songs, the end, for example, when the music's over, Riders on the Storm, people do their own solos. There's different improvisational parts. There's different. It goes somewhere today that it didn't go yesterday on stage. So it keeps it
interesting,
and it's never dull. Unlike some other bands where it's the first time they played it's the same way they played it 50 years later.
Yes,
like the Eagles. Nothing wrong with that band, but
yes,
there's no improvisation in a band like that. That's
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but that is okay. Now, what about the way you approach the Doors? I mean, again, this has been 18 years that you took this decision to we're going to have a band and we are only going to play Doors song. Both the positive and the negative. What have you, when you look at the Crystal Ship Band today, what would you think that if you from 18 years ago came to hear you play tomorrow live, what would they find more surprising of where you have reached right now?
Well, as a band, I think you can't escape your band's story. Every experience that you have lived as a band is somehow reflected in the way you play the music. I have seen videos of the first gigs with the band, and a part of being a little ashamed because sometimes you say I can't believe I was playing that song that way at that moment. but at the same time, I understand it because even though it's not played badly, well, the things that we have lived really permeate the music, us personally. I think emotionally, you are more charged emotionally every time you play every song because it means something that at first couldn't be possible. Just for give an example, the music that always play with Ty have this charge of certain energy and emotion for every one of us because you remember deep inside of you have these memories of the first times that you play with Ty or Backdoor Man when we played with Robbie. Every time we play Backdoor Man is not the same. It's not the same since that moment that we played it with Robbie Krieger. So,
can you give us more background of how you ended up playing with him?
It's his fault.
I'm sorry.
It's absolutely his fault.
Yes.
Because they came to play to the Soberana reunion in Aguascalientes at the beginning of 2019.
It's the biggest convention of bikers in Mexico.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
17,000 people.
Wow.
Watching the show. So it was huge. But we were there not for playing with Robbie, we didn't even think about meeting Robbie as it was.
But you knew he was going to be there.
Yeah, because Ty wrote us and, we are going to play to Aguascalientes. It would be nice if we get together and to have some food and so we went there, and our plan was only to have some food with Ty and chit chat a little bit, and that was all. But we came to the hotel, and in the next table that we were with Ty, it was Robbie with, I think it was Phil Chen and Nathan, I think.
Yeah, Nate.
And at the end of our meal, well, we asked Ty if it was going to be possible just to have a picture with Robbie. But that picture turned out to be a whole chat with them. We talked to them. We played a little bit because they were all kind of playful with us. I started to have this fork fight with Phil Chen.
Wow. This is important. Phil Chen, the bass player of the Doors of the 21st Century, who was also a bass player of Jeff Beck, who sadly passed away yesterday. To have all these legends around you, playing with you, being very friendly, very open, very humble. It was like a dream come true. That chat in the middle of the restaurant, and it was crazy. It was wonderful.
But I mean, this is how cool Robbie is too.
Yes.
Who does that? Who else? Name someone else that would do that. Like, oh, you guys want to play tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
Partly because he asked me, are they good?
Oh,
I mean,
and they were good.
Yeah, but even so, a lot of people will not do that.
Okay, so we're skipping parts. Okay, so then.
But anyways, I had to throw that in there before I forget.
No, because that's important. So the thing is that you that afternoon, or was it already late? And probably you met him, and then he asked you apart, like, who are these guys?
Yeah, I didn't ask, hey, can they play? I would never do that. Yeah. I would never impose somebody on his job, his show.
Exactly.
But he offered.
Oh,
if I remember correctly.
So he offered you.
No, he said, "Do they want to play? Do they want to play?" He asked me.
Cool.
So I think that's how it went down, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, and during the chat,
but he said they're good, right?
Robbie unexpectedly say to us, "Well, guys, do you want to play with me a song on the show tonight?"
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Very, very simple, and we just we were just tonight we were speechless and say, well,
we didn't know what to say at that moment?
Well, yes, would have
the-
been good.
Say yes.
The answer was yes, but he even asked us which song
Do you want to play? Wow.
do we want to play. We didn't really know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We didn't really know. My brain was blank at that point. So Roberto mentioned when the music's over, but then I thought, well, that's a long song. We don't really want to disrupt his performance that long. I don't want that. So I said, no, that's kind of long. Why not Backdoor Man? And he said, perfect. We were not going to play it. So
otherwise they would have.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it.
So it's going to be nice if we complement the
And it was great. They
with
did a
that.
great job.
Oh, is there a recording, a video, or anything?
Yes, there's a video.
Yeah, there is a small video taken by the same staff, the Mexican staff, and another video on stage that was taken by Phil Chen.
Oh,
Precisely.
Did he send it to you?
No, remember,
He uploaded
I
it?
was carrying my iPad,
My iPad.
and he said, "Give me your iPad."
I'll just show you.
I
You
will
have a
tell you.
recording of it. You have the recording on your iPad.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I have it. I have it. I even sent it to Phil because I remained having contact with him.
Yeah, he's great.
He was not a person of Facebook. If you wanted to talk to him, you had to do it by email. So
wise.
the contact was not as close as it is if you have him in Facebook. But we had some contact until he passed away 2 years ago or so.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know what was going on. He just didn't reply my last message, and a few months after, we found out he passed.
I'm
But
sorry.
it was a very nice. It was not just Robbie. I mean, Robbie is the big star. Even I got emotional to talk about that experience. A lot of time afterwards.
Yes.
I can't control it right now, but it was very emotional for me to even think about that. But besides getting to know Robbie, he was the conduit for knowing some other people that also, by being a part of this story of the Doors, make our lives as a persons, as the musicians, more richer, and all that reflects in the way you play the songs, in the way you feel at the moment you're playing the songs, and it's great. It's great.
Yeah, sounds like it.
We also recorded an album on 2018, and we released it on the next year. And also that experience is reflected. There is a point before and after the recording. The songs are kind of different before and after.
And I gotta say, Robbie thought these guys were good too. After they played, Robbie liked what you guys did.
That's
what I mean?
awesome.
And so he's there are a lot of people that he's played with, and he's heard a lot of people play, and he's sat in with a lot of Doors tribute bands because he's cool.
That's very important. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he just. Some people don't like tribute bands, like Neil Sean of Journey doesn't like Journey tribute bands, but Robbie's not like that. He thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
Because people are respecting the music. Yeah.
No, it's
liked
great
these guys, he told me.
to write something that other people want to play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why some people don't like the tribute bands, like that attitude. I don't understand
I
that.
don't understand either.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the performance itself was a really fast experience for us. Was like a dream. But before and after, every time we remember that, as Mario says, we became very emotional. I remember when we were on the dressing room just before the concert. We were kind of shy of having a chat with the musicians, with Robbie itself. But Robbie came to us. He was playing his acoustic guitar, and he was warming up with Spanish Caravan, performing with Spanish Caravan. He asked us, "Well, guys, do you warm up before your shows?" we said to Robbie, "Robbie, when we can. Sometimes we can't have a proper warm up." And he said to us, "Well, I should do my warm up with this song, especially because I get nervous performing this song and performing like a god, with Spanish Caravan." And I say to Robbie, please don't misunderstand me, but we still believe that this is a dream, and at some point we're gonna wake up. And Robbie says to us, "Well, guys, don't close your eyes because the better part is coming."
Oh, wow, I haven't heard that. That's cool.
Yeah. Some of this stuff is the first time I hear about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it was crazy.
Yeah, and at the end, after the show, we spent a little time with them, and I remember he said something to you, and you replied, "Well, I told you they were good."
Oh, so
They
you
were
did
good.
hear him say that.
Yeah.
You did
Yeah.
hear.
And then he approached to us and he said, "Well, guys, if you go to LA, let me know. I will receive you in my house, in my studio. You can rehearse in my studio
Wow.
because you are now part of the family,
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's how Robbie is. Yeah.
Did you take his word for it?
We haven't yet.
But hopefully will.
Yeah, we are making efforts for that. If
There are some very epic songs, psychedelic songs that
songs that we haven't played in a long time. So it's going to be not just the hits, also a few songs for the Doors
Die Hard
fans
fans.
of heart.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, everybody come on out
Yeah, exactly.
tomorrow. I mean,
There's probably nothing better else to do tomorrow. Just come and see the Crystal Ship Band. It's bajo circuito.
Bajo circuito exactamente.
Doors open by 8. The first band starts by 9, and we start around 10.
Perfect. Yeah, because old people like me, we need to go to bed early.
Exactly.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is your house. Well, Mexico is your house. But
my
also
pleasure.
Grita Radio is your house. You already know that this is also your home. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Axel.
Thanks so much, Axel. And
Gracias.
I love Mexico. I always have. Ray and Robbie loved Mexico too.
Exactly.
Always.
The love affair between Mexico and the Doors goes both ways.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Gracias, Grita Radio.
Gracias, Grita.
You know we'll be on true. You know we all will be on live. If I